Yo, what's up and welcome back. So today I have Mr. Welford TV on my channel. A
Hello,
round of
everyone.
applause. Probably one of my
Pleasure.
favorite Liverpool YouTubers out there, the most popular as well.
Nice one. Pleasure to be on the channel. Thanks a lot for inviting me on. Means a lot.
Before I get started with yesterday's game, I want to ask you, Welford. I've seen you at the games and everything. How does it feel to be away?
Yeah, it's proper strange. We'd never expect anything like this in our life. Some mad virus that we seen in China early December, and we all forgot about it. And yeah, obviously we've been. You see me at a lot of games, and we've been at some incredible games over the past like 18 months. United at home, City at home, the derby, and yeah, for me, Anfield is my happy place. Like Jordan off Arms Led, but no. Really, seriously, it is. It's what makes me happy. It's what I want to do. I am obsessed with Liverpool and football in general. And when I'm going to Anfield, like the weekend, I've got school, and because I'm doing my GCSEs, it's so stressful. And then you go to get home on a Friday thinking, oh, we're going to Anfield on Sunday, or we're going down to London to watch West Ham v Liverpool. You know what I mean? It's proper weird, and I do not like watching on the telly. And we need to get back there ASAP. Like it's just ridiculous.
Honestly, I could not agree with you more. It's just the most depressing thing being away from Anfield, especially like I'm not sure if the guys here have seen our vlogs, but if you guys haven't, check out Welford's vlogs and check out some of my vlogs as well. You'll see what it means to be part of that Anfield atmosphere.
Yeah.
If I was to ask you to highlight a moment from last season or in recent time, anyways, what would be your favorite moment at Anfield?
So, and to be fair, this is a question I get a lot on like my comments, my videos. For me, it's got to be Villa away last year, November time, 1-0 down, 90 minutes on the clock, Andy Robbo, boom, and then we're like getting the limbs, the flares are going off, and then a corner to Liverpool, the worst corner I think I've ever seen Trent put in his life, and Mane with a great header, and yeah. That went, and the thing I was sitting there on my own. My dad didn't have a ticket, but he managed to get one in the upper tier. So I'm down the bottom. I was on row B, like the first one of the first rows, and that was one of the happiest times I've been in my life. And that was usual Liverpool. They were just unbeatable, and they always keep fighting to the very end. And that year, and we both know going home and away, there's no one like us that missing more going every single game, and it's just. But yeah, definitely got to be that. And also United, as we both know, we're both there. And yeah, that United game when Salah went through. And I think we could both tell by the singing at the end. We think we all kind of knew what we were going to do that year. And we did it. We won the league.
Win the league after that game.
Yeah, that was one of the.
When I say can't hold back tears, like
that, in my video you see me, I'm proper like going for it, and my eyes just tearing up, and everyone, oh, mates, you going? Were you crying? I'm going, no, I wasn't crying. I'm like, yeah, it definitely was.
This is the moment, like we're gonna win the league, like it's actually happening.
Yeah, because you get proper like people that start singing it in like December, and we're only like 10 points clear, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're gonna jinx it. And then when we beat United, we all knew, even if you didn't want to sing it, and I didn't sing it, I don't think I did, because I just didn't, you know what I mean? With us, our luck over the past couple of years has been ridiculously bad. So, but yeah, I think we both could understand that atmosphere, the tense in that stadium that night was just ridiculous.
Oh, honestly, you're making me miss it.
Back there, please.
Oh, I need to get back. You know what? Were you there at the Barcelona game by any chance?
No, I wasn't.
No.
It's a shame.
We'll skip over that, but that was one of the best nights of my life. Like I was actually going to sell my ticket because of how upset I was because of the away leg. But
yeah, I went the away leg. That was like it was a pleasure to see a Messi masterclass and a great Barcelona team that night. But to travel like 2 hours on a plane, to be like having no sleep, and it was just a bit like, oh, we're out now, and just I think we both knew when coming home from I mean it fitted in straight in there. But I think we could both understand maybe the flight home. It was just a bit dead. The atmosphere was a bit because we all thought we're well out here. That Messi coming to Anfield is not going to let us score 4 goals, but we did.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
I know. Mad.
Honestly, the moment I came to the ground and I saw the flares and I saw all the fans, I was just like, you know what? If there's one club that can do this.
Yeah, exactly. There's one club to do it. It would be us. And we always know that when big sides come to Anfield, the flares, the fans are all there behind the bus, just getting in their faces. And it would really put you off as a player, because I think if you're coming through and see just red smoke everywhere, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, wow, what a place. And then you get into Anfield and we know the atmosphere, especially last year when we knew we could physically win the league. Every single player was up on the seat just screaming and getting in the faces, and it was just Yeah, what a time to be alive that was last year until the stupid virus wrecked our season, but we won it at the end.
Couldn't even celebrate the league win properly.
Sure.
But no, honestly, we could speak about this for hours.
Yeah, we could.
Let's get cracking about the game. But before I move on to the game, we've had like a recent poor run of form. And before the last game, our last win was against Crystal Palace on the 19th of December. What's going on? Like, how can the team that have won the Club World Cup, the Super Cup, the Champions League in recent times, and the Premier League winners, how can they have such a slump in form? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it was proper weird that, and like we thought when we beat Palace the day before my birthday, it was a great early birthday present. It was a phenomenal performance. We had like 8 shots. We were so clinical that day. Sorry, it's only Minamino who missed a chance which he should have scored really. And I've never seen us so clinical. We both know after traveling around the whole world over the past couple of months before the stupid lockdown. We were we've always had that bit of unclinicality, if that's even a word. You know what I mean? We'd always see Salah or Mane miss the odd chance. You know what I mean? But that day we were proper clinical, and then from there, I just think for me, we had some individual players have a bit of a down in form, especially Trent, which Liverpool lad myself and him coming through. Who used to go to my school. It was just to see him having such poor performances. One of the best right back in the world, may I just say. It was proper a bit like, oh, it's a bit sad that, and we thought he's only a young lad. He's done so much. One was get behind him and get him going. But yeah, it just went downhill from Palace, and we all understand we had a great week before Christmas, but after Christmas is a bit freakish. But the only thing I put my finger on is just the mentality, the fitness, the like energy around the club was just so used out over the past 18 months. We just know every game we went into, we just were fighting to the last second, like Villa away, as we mentioned earlier on.
Yeah.
I just feel like for me, it was just like something like the machine wasn't working, something just twisted in it, and it ran out its battery. You know what I mean? But that win last night is, I think for me, it's lifted us all up, and as we can tell, we've been chatting over the past couple of nights, and we can just tell both of us how happy we've been with that result. And I feel like for me, I'm gonna say it now, I think we could go on a run of form. Yeah, get 5-6 wins on our bounce, and we've got some tough games coming up on the weekend. Leicester City, I think. So yeah, it's going to be good, but it's proper weird that run of form. We should be beating some of the teams we didn't beat, like Newcastle. Newcastle, Steve Bruce might be getting sacked on the weekend, and we didn't beat them. Not scored a goal in like 10 hours of football, but
yeah. That was a difficult 10 hours to watch.
Yeah.
But let's get talking about yesterday's game. Yeah. So as soon as the game started, before I even had time to sit down on my chair, we had such an early chance. And as soon as Mane was running, in my head was popping, this is going to be 5-0. We're going to absolutely batter them.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Mane's missed chance. How did he manage to miss that?
Yeah, that I thought like we're just coming in. My dad coming in. My dad's getting his beer and that out the fridge, and we're just coming in, sitting down. And you're like, oh, Salah's there. Oh, what a ball by Salah. That is, Mane's in. And he misses, and we're all sat there going, how the hell has he missed that? Left foot or not? It's just like, and we're all thinking, I'm thinking, that's going to come back and haunt us. And yeah, and I feel like for me, what we need to realise is if that was Salah, a lot of people would have been slagging him off for that a lot, on Twitter and social media, which I feel like is not fair, because I just feel like for me, a lot of people respect Mane, and I've got a lot of love for Mane because how good he's been. And I totally agree, he's been one of the best at the front three the past 18 months. He's won us so many games, Villa, Norwich, just the list could go on. But yeah, it's probably weird that, and as you said, if that goes in, you're thinking, hang on, we could get right behind these now and start putting a couple of goals past them. But he didn't score, but it didn't matter in the end, did it really?
Yeah, it didn't. But my biggest worry was, especially when they went on their little attack with Son, the goal that got this. I thought now that Mane's not been clinical again and they've had a chance, it could go very, very downhill to a game that we could have absolutely battered. But then as soon as their goal got disallowed, firstly, do you think that was fair? What do you think?
For me, as a football fan in general, I'm made up. Obviously, as a Liverpool fan, I didn't count. But for me, I just feel like a bit like I was at Brighton a couple of months ago before Christmas. Last year we got one similar. It's just like it's not even inches. It's just like a little line, a piece. But I feel like for me, you've got to give the attacker the benefit of the doubt. They can't be honest. They can't be bang on side every single attack. He's like it's not even an inch. I think it's like a quarter of an inch offside. And for me, it should have stand. In general, I would love to see that goal stand, but it didn't. And that's what VAR is there for, technically. But it's very stupid.
It out throughout the rest of the game, anyways, didn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's just I would like to see that stand if I was a general football fan, but obviously it would have made a massive difference in our game. But I'm not bothered really. It got ruled out, and I'm quite made up with the win. So yeah.
But what's it? After that, first half wasn't the most like exciting one, but I think we had a lot of dominance in that first half.
Definitely.
Would have liked to make more of our chances, but it doesn't matter because we got a nice 47th minute goal, 45 added time, goal by Firmino. How nice was it to see Firmino? In fact, how nice was it to see a Premier League
score a goal? It was a great play, and I feel like, as you said, you hit the nail on the head. We dominated the first half, I'd say, but wasn't dominant in a it wasn't a bad way, but it wasn't a great way. Like when you dominate the ball, you want to have chances, and I think Mane especially had about 2 chances. I think he should have put away the chip over the top by Salah, which was a great ball, and like later on when he was like 1-1 with Aurier, I think he could have scored, but obviously it didn't end. And yeah, lovely ball by Henderson. I think he got a massive credit for that goal. Played a massive part in it, and yeah, and Bobby Dazzler doing it again against Spurs. He loves scoring against Spurs, as we know, and yeah,
if he can't score,
the stroke at half time as well. Great time to score, and yeah, but we were very dominant in that first half. I think for us, if we hadn't scored then, half time would have been a very, very bad point. We probably wish we could have played an extra 15 minutes because we were just digging away at such a deep back line. But we finally got it, and yeah, Bobby scoring, which was absolutely amazing.
And he definitely changed the team talk at halftime. Klopp did not look happy in that first half. You could see the frustration on his face.
Yeah.
But finally converted one of our many chances, which we need to start doing more often.
Yeah.
Then at half time, when things are suddenly going our direction, our only surviving centre back is out injured. So we have to bring Nat Phillips in. Nat Phillips, how do you think he plays? Do you think?
Well,
look, before you go, you got to realise he is someone who hasn't had so much experience in that first 11.
Yeah.
He's stepping in not just in a normal game. It's not Liverpool FA Cup game or anything like that. He's stepping in against Tottenham, which for us at the moment is probably one of the biggest things because this is the decider to say if we're staying in the race or if we're dropping. So Nat Phillips walking off that pitch, do you think he did his bit?
100%. I said on a lot of things in my videos and other people's channels. I prefer Reece Williams to him. I feel like he was good against Brighton and like the West Ham game at home, but I think he's a bit not very good on the ball and that. But he proved me wrong big time. Matip injured again, made a prawn crackers. I feel so sorry for the lad. He's so good on the ball. I know he's so good defensively as well. He's a great player. Early tackle with Son, which was a great challenge, but. Yeah, I slagged Nat Phillips off a lot. He was absolutely phenomenal when he came on. Some of the tackles, he got booked early on as well in that second half, which he's on a tightrope. He couldn't make too many rash tackles as we know he likes to do. Made some great aerials used against Son. Late on, big header, got above him, gave him a bit of a oge in the back, and also just dangling leg out with a great tackle on Ndombele late on as well. He was absolutely phenomenal and was very, very good in that second half. And especially against Son, one of the best attackers in the world, in my opinion, he did absolutely phenomenally. And I take back everything I said about him over the past couple of weeks. Very, very good he was.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, he to be honest, it was hard to tell that you had a less experienced player playing in that second half. And he covered the position quite well. But moving on, Mane's deflected shot. Trent, beautiful finish.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful finish. What wonders do you think that did for Trent?
That was, and as I said in the intro of this video, we've seen Trent being so poor over the past couple of weeks or even months. I think since his injury at City, he's not came back the same player at all. And we see him as the best right back in the world, and a lot of people do see him as that. And to that game yesterday, was Trent at his best, in my opinion. He had everything about his game. He was so good defensively, attacking on the ball, finding passes, just literally Trent-esque. Everything about that performance was all Trent. And to get that goal, you could see how much it meant to him with Bobby celebrating in the corner flag. And to get the assist as well for Mane's and just for winning his defensive duels and stuff like that was absolutely phenomenal. And that was a great Trent performance. And he really needed that. And fingers crossed he can do the same on Sunday against West Ham because we need him to because it's a tough game on Sunday.
100%. And the thing is, like, I think a lot of people forget the fact that he's just a young 22-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And he's, you know what? I'm not sure if this is something, or if it's something that we've started recently as a fan base, or if it's something I've just noticed more recently. But I noticed it all when Adrian made that mistake, and it's this thing of jumping on our players' backs.
Yeah, we've done that a lot. Yeah,
it's probably the worst thing to do because if anything, they need a boost of confidence. And the last thing we need is to open Instagram and open Twitter and see messages from their own
comments,
fans, not even other fans gunning them down. And I saw it a lot with Adrian, and then we saw it again with Curtis Jones, and I started seeing it with Trent. And I think a lot of people have short memories in the sense that Trent basically got us that fourth goal against Barcelona. And Trent had done way before he should have even been on that first 11 team. He fit in the team and he done wonders for us. And I think people have such a short memory, and that goal hopefully gives him the confidence to just kind of start moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, he got us that final. I don't care what anyone says. He got like 2 or 3 assists in that game. And as you said, he's only 22. He's such a young lad, and he's had played so many games, had so much experience for a young lad, which is you don't see often. You are a bit nowadays, but no, Foden, Greenwood, Saka, they've not had any of the experience as Trent had. Playing Champions League nights away in Madrid, Porto, Bayern, like. He's came up against some of the world's best wingers, Sterling, Sané, sometimes. And for me, he's been absolutely phenomenal. And as you said, Liverpool fans recently, I think aren't happy in general with our season so far. Not the whole of it, just recently. I think a lot of people just are just could have one bad game, like, oh, he's crapping, let's get him out. You know what I mean? It's just so stupid. And it's not all Liverpool fans, it's just the silly ones that don't care too much. You just see someone have a bad game and go, I'm going to give me. But Gary Lineker made a great tweet on Twitter last night after the game saying Trent had a dip in form, but that was a Trent Arnold performance and he's back to his best. And definitely, it was just, he really needed that. And I hope he can continue. And he's been one of our best players and most consistent players over the past couple of years. And he's such a young lad to have so much experience and have a couple of games where he's not played his best and to get abused for it is shocking. But everyone should have turned their eye now, and he had a great game last night.
Mentality is what counts. Mentality. He managed to fight it. He's got his goal, and you saw the smile on his face.
Yeah.
There in the game, he did something special. But before I move on to that, we had that situation with a VAR call against Liverpool. I was so happy when Salah scored. You don't understand, because so last week we had a double game week on Fantasy League.
Yeah.
And I decided to make a triple bet because I thought now Liverpool are going to bounce back. Big mistake. You got 4 points, getting me a total of, well, I think good. 8, 9, 12 points. But I was hoping that if he gets just a couple goals, it'll make a big difference. But unfortunately, let me down. And then this week, I was stuck. Do I put Bruno as captain or do I put Salah? And luckily, I didn't put Bruno because they did absolutely.
They're the stinker. Yeah.
And that was, do you know what? That was the start of me enjoying watching football again. That was like a nice little build up to the Liverpool Tottenham game. But and then this week, as soon as he scored his goal, the way I celebrated, I ran out the room and everything. I was like, yes, we've done it. Only to come back and see that the goal wasn't allowed. And it was like they've given it for a handball on Firmino. But if you look at it, like I've got a little picture up there actually. And if you look at it, you can see that it's a bit of a sticky one to give because, one sec, let me open this image up more if I can. But it's not a fair one to give because you can see literally Dyer is absolutely hugging him.
Yeah. It was a bit of a weird one because I feel like a couple of months ago at West Ham, Villa went there and Watkins scored a last minute equaliser, but it got ruled offside because of his sleeve. It was offside, but Ogbonna had his arms all around him, and if you're getting handled from behind, getting grabbed on, your first initiative is just to get them off. You know what I mean? And when the ball's coming into you, you want to try and touch it down, which he did absolutely fantastic last night. And as he's just shoving him off, his arms, he can't keep his arms by his side as he's trying to get him off. He's got to use his hands to get him off him, which is all fair. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And as he's doing that, his arm is going to be in an unnatural way. And also, it hits Dyer's arm first, and he's all over him. So, for me, we seen it the other week when Villa had that stupid goal against them because of that offside. But the other day, they changed the rules. I think they need to do it again. Stuff like that needs to be taken into consideration. If a striker is getting handled like Salah does a lot, Firmino, Mane do, if he tries to get off him, he's got to use his arms. And also, Dyer handballed it anyway, so you could say it's fair. He handballed it, we handball it, just play on.
Yeah, and the way it bounced off Dyer's hand as well, like, Firmino had such little time to react to it. It's inevitable that it's going to bounce off his hand. He really didn't have a choice in any of it. And there was such little advantage from the handball because it was in Firmino's control anyways.
It's not the worst decision I've ever seen. Like, it obviously is clear handball, but you've got to take two things into consideration, that he is getting handled a lot and it did his arm first. But it's obviously not the worst decision I've seen, but I feel like for me, I'd love to see that goal stand because we both love Salah and he deserved that goal. Salah, I think he played very, very well last night and gets a bit of stick sometimes. He doesn't deserve it.
But yeah, no, I think Salah went under the radar a little bit just because he didn't get any goals or assists.
Yeah, he was very good though last night.
Almost back at his best. Yeah. And I feel like as the games go on, we're going to see a bit more hunger from Salah and hopefully a bit more fight from him as well.
Top of the goal scoring list in the league as well. He's not scored in a couple of games.
And then to end the game, a beautiful finish because Mane was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He got an assist earlier on in the game and then a nice little goal at the end. How was that ball from Trent? Because I feel that goal from Trent earlier on gave him the confidence to put those balls back in.
Yeah.
To be honest, the Tottenham defender should have done a bit better with that. But it was the fact that Trent had that confidence to put that ball in, and Mane was on the end, ready to put that in.
Yeah, I totally agree. That goal, just when you score a goal, do something good in football. I play football like a lot, obviously not now because lockdown, but when you do something good and you see your teammates are made up and you've got people like shouting well done and all that, it just really gives you a boost of confidence, especially to score a goal. And it was a massive goal as well to get a bit more of a cushion on the games, to have a 2-goal lead. And I feel like for me, recently Trent just been pumping balls in the box and just thought, let's just try and get a couple of assists and just starts putting his foot through it and trying to get it in the box. And we know we're not a very physical or tall side at all, especially in the final third with our three up front. They're absolutely amazing, but they're not going to win many balls in the air, other than maybe Bobby and Mane. But yeah, and I feel like tonight that confidence when he scored that goal from then, even the full game, the full 95 minutes, he was absolutely incredible, and he was so strong defensively and got attackingly, and his assist was just absolutely incredible. And his prime Trent, that's what Trent's all about, whipping them balls in across the box where the keeper doesn't know to come out or not. And yeah, great finish by Mane, but I think Rondon could have done a lot better for Tottenham, but we don't care. It's a great goal.
You were talking about teammates and the impact it has, and I think Trent's confidence is going to spread amongst us, especially the strikers as well, because Salah's going to be darting in back into the box.
Yeah.
Firmino's going to be darting in the box.
Because he's getting the better balls and now he's picked his form up, and he know we can find them. They're in the box in a good space. Trent's the one on that pitch that's going to put a ball into them and hopefully get them a goal.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So after that 3-1 win, amazing game. Enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah,
one thing
I
actually forgot to talk about was how do you pronounce his name?
Hojbjerg, something like that.
Or something. How was his goal?
Yeah, very, very good goal. Bit poor defensively, like Wijnaldum, Thiago and Milner, they're all in the box for some reason. And yeah, but to be fair, it didn't matter much. Obviously, it would have been nice to win 3-0 away at Spurs. That's a big statement to win clean sheet. But yeah, it's a great goal. You can't really blame anyone. The only thing I could maybe say is just Milner, Thiago or Wijnaldum. One of them should have been a little bit further out in the box, just sitting on the edge, waiting for that pullback. But what a goal that was. A very, very good goal, in my opinion.
I'll be honest, it added to the drama of the day as well.
Yeah, I know, 2-1 win. I'm going, oh, no. You know what it's like here. But yeah, great goal.
Typical Liverpool, apart from last season's Premier League win, we don't do things easy, do we?
And no, we always have to do it the hard way.
But yeah. All right, moving on. A player that I think was an interesting one yesterday, James Milner.
Yeah. What a player, may I just say? What a player.
Does he earn himself a spot in the starting 11 for Liverpool? Because it seems to be when we started Milner is where maybe our luck changed. So he make a place in our first 11.
100%. Obviously, with the Matip injury now, it looks like we've got Firmino out. It looks like, especially against West Ham, we're going to have to play Henderson and probably Nat Phillips at the back. And this man on the screen now, he's played the past 3 games, hasn't he, really? Well, the past couple of games now. He's so good. Obviously, that season, like when we went to Kiev in the Champions League, him, Wijnaldum and Henderson were the 3 that you'd never ever change. And there's been a lot of new faces to Anfield over the past couple of years now. But James Milner, every time he plays in a cup game with the kids, he's always in there. Or he's one of the first names on the team sheet for Klopp in the Mickey Mouse Cups. But yeah, he's so good. He's played like 550 career appearances. He always fighting. He loves a good tackle as well, which I love. And he's really good player. Like he was boss last night. Like he was very, very good. And for me, with the injuries at the back, it looks like we are going to sign a centre half. And well, hopefully Klopp did come out earlier today and say he wants to sign a centre half, and they're not just gonna buy anyone. He's a bit picky. He wants to sign the right player. But I feel like for me, why there's a couple of injuries and why Henderson's dropped out, he can do a job in the midfield. And them three in that midfield, they work so well together. And yeah, they won us that game, in my opinion. They were just first to the ball, very good defensively as well. And Milner doesn't half love getting up and trying to impact the game in the final thirds. And he's one of the best players I think the Premier League has ever seen. And just generally, he's still so good.
Definitely, a lot of people look at Milner and they see him as not the most technically gifted player, but
just he gives 100% and just
the game goes so much beyond just technical abilities.
Yeah, he's everywhere and just does everything right.
And you're talking about his aggression in tackles and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think that's something that spreads along the team because they see someone like Milner, his urgency to get that ball, and
he's
all
not
the
scared of a tackle.
The young ones, they realise that if Milner, like not an old man, but the older one,
a bit, more experience,
then we should be doing the same sort of thing. And you can see how that spread amongst the team yesterday. And you know what? That guy, he's old, let's be honest, compared to some of the other. But his ability to stay at such a high tempo.
He's so fit. He is so, he's always thinking, Yeah, you can tell he played 95 minutes yesterday. Yeah, no, and as you said, he's an old football player. And to keep that amount of fitness, and we know, that picture then, he's just so fit and strong. And I feel like for me, definitely a big shout for man of the match behind Trent there. And that midfield three yesterday, not just, I know we're giving a lot of credit to Milner, but Wijnaldum and Thiago were very good yesterday. And we need to keep Wijnaldum. We need to try and get him. Liverpool need to just take a moment and go, you know what, we'll just pay him the extra 20 grand he's asking for because he's such a massive player. And he's not when was the last time Wijnaldum was injured?
Yeah.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, he's just always touch wood. We don't want any more injuries, but Milner, what a player, just absolutely incredible, and he needs to start against West Ham. He has to. No Curtis or Shaqiri. Milner, he gives you everything defensively and attacking. So good.
Definitely, and I think another player that I want to talk about from yesterday, and it's so beautiful to see him back at his, I wouldn't say best just yet, but close to his best, is this man over here, Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
How nice is it to see him enjoying the game for once? Because I feel like in recent games, there's been a lot of pressure on him to just perform and do something. And it's kind of like that Luis Suarez thing where when we had Luis Suarez and we were struggling, it's just get the ball to Suarez.
He'll do it. Yeah, he'll score.
The same sort of impact in the game. But when things aren't going your way and the balls keep coming to you and people are expecting so much from you, you could see the pressure was building up on his shoulders. But yesterday, for the first time in a long time, it was nice to see Sadio Mane enjoying it. But how does it feel as a fan to see Sadio Mane almost back at his best?
Yeah, a lot of Liverpool fans, he's been our best player probably last year, or Van Dijk maybe. Them two were just incredible in that title-winning season last year. And I feel like for me, he's probably been one of the best attackers this season yet again. Maybe you could argue Salah. For me, probably Salah just edges it with his goals. But Mane, for me, if I'm a defender, especially a right-back, the one player in the world I don't want to be facing is him, or maybe Neymar. They're the two you just won't want to call against, especially just can you be bothered? He'll have me run ragged. And for me, he's so good on the ball, and when you see him one-on-one with a defender, you know he's going to take him on. He was just a team play as well, getting an assist as well to Bobby. And then three, just see how happy they are. Every time one scores, they're always together, always smiling, laughing with the celebrations. It's just, Mane was very good last night to get a goal and assist as well. And the celebration for the lad, for his granddad, was just absolutely incredible to see. It's just, what a gentleman. He's just a great player and amazing to see him scoring and getting involved with the goals and having fun, as you said.
But yeah, definitely. So looking forward at some of Liverpool's next games, how do you think things are going to go in the next few days? Because now is a very, very, very important time for us because we are essentially part of that title race still. We're not that many points.
Yeah, definitely. After last night, definitely.
Yeah, and everything's still possible, especially in the way that this league has gone. You never expect a team like Liverpool to have a slump in form like the way we have. And you don't expect Man United to go and lose to Sheffield, not even hold a draw.
The worst team in Premier League history, they are, Sheffield United. Most point tally after so many games.
And honestly, I wonder what the odds were on for Sheffield to win the game. But anything is possible this season. And I feel like the next few games are probably some of the most crucial games in the league for us because it's going to decide whether we're still part of that title race or if we're in the fight for fourth. So if we look at some of the next games,
we've got some big teams in February, I think. But for
So
me, wait, one
yeah, go on. So next game you spoke about already. West Ham. They're right behind
big
us in
game. Yeah,
yeah
tough game.
table here as well. Look, they're literally right behind us in the league, 2 points behind us. And if Everton were to win their game in hand, they would be very close to us as well. So I think it's very, very sorry. If Everton win their 2 games in hand, they can actually go above
Above
us.
us by 1 point. Yeah.
If anything like that was to happen, I think
Hmm.
I have to stop posting videos for a little bit and go quiet. But, yeah, so after the West Ham game, anyways, because West Ham's going to be a tough
Brighton, I
game.
think.
West Ham's form hasn't been too bad. They've only picked up 1 draw, and the rest of them have been wins in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
And our form, I mean, it speaks
Isn't
for
the
itself.
best good in the 6
So now's the chance to turn that around. And then we've got Brighton, who I think should be an easy win for us. But after that, it starts getting a bit more difficult.
Yeah,
How do
definitely.
you feel about Man City and then Leicester?
Yeah, so obviously we've got West Ham on Sunday, which is a very tough game in my opinion. But I feel like that win last night is going to give us the world of confidence. I just hope Liverpool go into that game with the mindset they did last night's game. I feel like they might think, oh, it's only West Ham. We don't have to play as well, but you do. They've been one of the best teams this season, so consistent. Some great players, Suchek, Antonio. Very tough game. I feel like we could just edge it, maybe like a 2-1 or something, but no stupid mistakes, just tight and just get the win. If you win there, I've been saying the past couple of weeks, Tottenham game is make or break. After the run of form over the past couple of weeks, the past couple of days, especially this week, I've been saying this game on Thursday is make or break. If we lose it or draw it, we're out of it. If we win, I think we could go on a good run of form. I feel like for me, West Ham will just edge it. Brighton, we have to win. They've had a couple of 0-0 draws over the past couple of weeks. Then City is a very tough one, but they're missing the main man. They've got no striker available. I feel like you can beat them on the day, and to be fair, you can't really be drawing that game. I know you'd sit there and go, maybe a draw will be all right in their form, but they've got a couple of easy games going in the next couple of games, so they'll probably still be top of the league when we play them. But I feel like there's one team that can beat them, is probably us or United, and I feel like we've got a real big chance if we get that. I think we should, if we beat West Ham and Brighton, we'll be very tight to them. But I can't see them dropping points until they beat us.
Definitely.
But yeah, I feel like if we beat them, then I think we could be like 3 points or so behind them, which would be nice. But yeah, and I think Leicester for me, no offense to any Leicester fans who are watching this, I do really do like yeah. But I feel we can beat Leicester. I just feel like without Vardy, Maddison's a great player, Fofan's a great player, but I just feel like they're such and Tielemans as well. But I feel like they're very beatable Leicester. I think you could probably agree with me. But the
Yeah.
next 4 games, I think we could get. I think we could get a possible actually 3, 6,
We've got,
7. I say 10 points. I'd be happy with 10 points.
I'll take 10
But
points. So look, thing is,
I'd like to beat City. We have to
yeah,
beat
like,
Brighton and West Ham though. I
look
think
at
for
the
me.
table. Yeah, look at City's form at the moment. They're top of the table and they've won their last 5 games. And don't forget, they were eighth at one point. Sorry, I
Yeah,
realized I'm sharing the screen there, but they were eighth at one point, and they've I think eighth or seventh at one point, and then they've gone on the maddest win,
yeah.
like maddest win.
They're the team to
They've
beat this
found
year.
themselves at the top, and they seem unbeatable. And I've started seeing the messages on Twitter. I've started seeing them on Instagram comments that City have won or City are going to win the league, and it's City
Yeah,
season. No one else has
they
been able
are.
to perform like they have. But
Yeah.
depending on the next few games, look, West Ham, Brighton. If we do well in those 2 games, and our
We have
striker,
to win them too, in my opinion. We've got to win them.
no choice. We literally have to win, because if we
Yeah.
don't win them, don't forget we've got Everton on our tail, and then Leicester and Man United are just literally points away from us. And do you know what? I can't remember the last time I saw United in the league above us, but it's
I
so
know.
difficult to see.
But I feel with the weekend, United obviously go to the Emirates tomorrow as we're filming this, and I feel like for me, well, I did the maths before. If United get beat, which is a high chance because Arsenal are in a good run of form, if United get beat and Leicester drop points against Leeds, we go to second with joint points with United on goal difference, which would be massive. Obviously,
Yeah,
City would have still 2 games in hand. Technically, no, they'd have one because I think they play tomorrow. But I feel
yeah,
like for me, if we can get second from Sunday, that is a great position to be in. And yeah, but I feel like for me, as we've said, West Ham and Brighton, we have to win them games. And then we get to City, which is in a couple of weeks, which we don't need to think about right now. But if we win these next 2 games, we think we definitely need to beat Brighton. West Ham's going to be a tough game, but we need to fight out to the end and hopefully get the 3 points. And I think if we do get the 3 points, we'll still very, very in it. And yeah, but a slip of form in the next 2 games, we could be well out of it because it's so like if anyone loses or drop us points, any weekend. It just the table changes so much. Like if Leicester don't win, about 3 teams can go above them. It's mad. But there's a couple of teams with games in hand. Everton, City have got games in hand, so we need to just win every game from now. And I'd happily just get to City and win with being like 3 or 4 points behind them, and then see what happens on that day. But
we've still got a good 18 games left of the season.
Yeah, with loads of time, and it's so tight. So even if we do slip up, we can still be in it. But I feel like we have to win. They need to be must-win games. West Ham and Brighton for me.
Definitely. And the thing is, look, we've seen the way this league is, and I feel like in the first half of the season, especially because the whole coronavirus pandemic, players not sure what's going on, the league not sure what's going on, and stuff like that. Teams were allowed to be a bit sloppy here and there, and like for example, like first game of the season, Leeds almost gave us a run for our money on that first.
Yeah, definitely.
And then after that, all sorts of points we've dropped here and there. City had a really poor run as well. Man United, very poor run as well. And I think, in fact, there's not a team up there that has been phenomenal. Well, obviously the points speak for themselves because we're all very tight on points.
So
City
tight, yeah.
Came in recently, but before that they were really struggling because they were quite down on the table. They were behind Southampton at one point.
Yeah.
And you can just see the way things flipped around. Tottenham, who are fighting for us for first place, went all the way down to 7th, and then now they've moved their ways back up just by losing 1 or 2. And we've seen how tight it is. And just to put things in perspective, last season I think we were like between 10 to 15 points clear at this point.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Now it's going to be the most incredible ending to the Premier League if things stay this.
It's going to go right down to the wire.
Yeah, and to be honest, if we pull away and win it down to the wire, it would be the best feeling ever. If we could have a moment like Man City had with that goal by Aguero,
scoring late on to win it,
screaming all the way from Liverpool, like I just hope we can do it this time.
But we've also got to take into consideration a lot of teams around us have lost a lot of big players. City have lost De Bruyne, which I know they battered West Brom, but no offense to West Brom again. That's not, you know what, I could say that's not hard to beat them, but we didn't beat them at home. But, you know what I mean? City have lost the main man, De Bruyne, which is one of the best players in the world, in my opinion. Tottenham have lost Kane, it looks like, for a week or so. He might be out for longer. We've obviously lost Van Dijk from early on the season. Leicester have lost Vardy, who's out for 7 weeks or something ridiculous with a hip or something. So they've all lost their main players.
Like come off the table, by the way.
It's exactly. Like we lost Virgil early on. Everyone had we the only team who suffered big time. Leicester could throw in there with a couple little injuries here and there, but now everyone's kind of feel like what it's like to be us when you've lost your main man, the one who gets. Not for us, obviously got a lot of world class, but Van Dijk was such important because of the position he played in, the backup. You can't get anyone as good as Van Dijk. But
if you look
at Van Dijk, so tight.
Almost the difference between us winning the league or not, because the season before our attacking was phenomenal, and we just managed to with Man City, and Man City was a little bit better than us that season. But it was the following season after that where we stopped conceding those goals that we didn't need to concede.
Van Dijk and Alisson
controlled so much of the game from the back, and because of having like a rock like Van Dijk behind you, people like Henderson, Firmino weren't worried about anything. They were just thinking attack,
and score, goals,
everything covered.
Yeah,
and that's what we're missing this season. But I feel like I don't know if we can get the signing. Speaking of a signing, who do you think we should be looking at? And what do you think, in fact, even if it's not a signing, what do you think the best solution is right now? Look, we've had Firmino out injured. Henderson was out for a little bit. He's back for this game. We've got Matip, who was injured at halftime. We've got Gomez out for I don't know how long, and obviously Virgil van Dijk. What number one is someone doing black magic on Liverpool's defense? That is the only explanation out there. We need Robert to come back and start peeing on the post again. Who are going to fix it?
Yeah, definitely. It's not just the defence. We've lost Jota, we've lost Thiago, who's been out for a long time. We've lost Salah to COVID. We've lost a lot of players. And I feel like for me, the main solution now, over the past couple of weeks, we all thought we'd never sign a centre-half. They came out and said we're not going to sign a centre-half. But I feel like for me, to that game last night, a great result. And obviously we did so well defensively, considering we had like 2 blips in like a space of half an hour in that game. We had obviously Matip coming off injured, and he looks like he's going to be out for the rest of the season, which you don't want to see. But I feel like that sent a massive, massive message to them up there who control Liverpool's transfer market. And as we said before, earlier on this morning, Klopp's press conference after the game and West Ham press conference, he said that we're not going to rush into signings, but we want to wait till we find the right player and something else along the lines of that. So it looks very, very promising that Liverpool are going to sign a couple of players. We've been linked with so many centre-halves the past couple of weeks. We've got some lads in the French league, in Botman. We've had
There's
Kabak from the
definitely some
Bundesliga, Ben White from Brighton. There's been Issa Diop from West Ham a couple of hours ago. We've had so many centre-half linked. I feel like for me, you've got to go and get someone on loan. Don't go buy anyone, because when everyone's back,
we don't need to make that mistake Man
you've
United
got
made.
4 playable, good centre-halves. Van Dijk, Gomez, Firmino could always drop in there if one of them gets an injury next year, and Matip, who can fill in. And then 5th one, Henderson, you know what I mean? So for me, don't buy anyone. Just get them on loan, pay them a couple of, like, 60, 80 grand a week, get the wages in, and just get it done. Because if that win yesterday puts you in a great position now to challenge this league yet again, and if we can start picking up results, everyone keeps fit, the attackers keep scoring goals, we're straight back in it. And with everyone else losing players, we need to take advantage. And we are a club that's got money. We don't like spending lots of money. But if this is any other club in that league, even like Southampton, Villa, if they were missing this many centre-halves, the first thing they do is go and buy a centre-half. And we know United and City and Chelsea, they'd go and spend 120 million on a centre-half. But we're not the club to do that. We'd go and sign a young lad, which I think we will do. And we need to do it. If we don't do it, I'm still going to be a bit shaky, because Nat Phillips is a great player, as we said before, but he cannot play another 18 games, I think. And I can't see Henderson. I can't see Henderson and Firmino keeping fit. Yeah,
you
I
can't
see
yourselves like title contenders and have someone like Nat Phillips. And no offense to him, I know he's 24 and should be.
Yeah, totally. He was very good yesterday, but he cannot play the rest of the season.
Yeah,
and we've got Champions League games as well, which are even bigger in my opinion, because we want to do well in that.
And even if someone was to magically come out of injury, we know they're just going to end up back in there again anyways. Like, our luck's not been great. And the thing is, even we've got Reece Williams, and you can't expect someone like him to try
so young. That's what I mean.
Van Dijk. And that's
a great player, but he can't just come in.
And I feel like yesterday's game was, if I'm not sure if you noticed in the second half, but a lot of Man United's attacks were faced to where Phillips was.
Yeah.
And they were trying to take advantage of the fact that
Phillips very well.
Do you know
but you can't do that for 18 games. No one can do that for 18 games. Yeah. He's still young. He was like he's going to college in America. Like, he was looking for colleges and stuff like that. He was playing like just like in Germany, like the 3rd division. He wasn't like thinking he could go anywhere. You know what I mean? He just at Liverpool, just training with like the odd 13 training session, and now he's playing Premier League games. But no matter in the club who you get, even as a proper centre half, you cannot expect them to come in and play 18 games of football every like 3 days, keep fit, play well, try and challenge for the league at such a young age with no experience. Because Nap and Reece, they play games for their age group, which obviously a bit of experience, but nothing like Premier League. And you're coming against Harry Kane, Sterling, De Bruyne, Foden, Vardy, Maddison. You can't just come against them and go, oh fine, I've been playing the past couple of years. You know what I mean? But
yeah, definitely. And the thing is, yeah. So, have you got anyone in particular in mind for a centre half? And the thing is, before you think about a centre half, just take into consideration what Klopp said in his interview, that we don't want to pick up anyone, because we've seen clubs make that mistake before. Like, we've seen teams like Man City who just throw money at problems and they try to fix it. And
he just tried to buy a left back. He's not that good anymore, is he?
That's a big example.
He's all right, but he's not worth like the 60 million that they paid for him or whatever. He's getting paid like 100 grand a week. But yeah, as I said, Liverpool aren't the club. We've got the money, but we are not the club to go and buy a player for like 50 million, 40 million. Liverpool won't do that. And they never will. We won't for the next couple of years. We just know what we're like. City, United, Chelsea, this problem, considering we've had this problem for about since November, mid-November, we've had this problem. They would be like, all right, as soon as that transfer window opens, you're going for Upamecano, you're going for David Alaba, you're going for Militao, and they'd go and spend 80 million to go, there you go, take that, pay you 150 grand a week, get over here now, we need you. But Liverpool won't do that, and they'll go for someone under the spectrum a little bit, and will go for someone a bit like, oh, Uzi, you know what I mean? I feel like for me, I'm going to say 3 names. Actually, I'll say, 3 names. I'll say Kabak from Schalke. They're having a nightmare over there. Hopefully he's playing well. I think he'd definitely come over for a loan season, considering how bad they're playing. Another one, this is probably my top priority, Sven Botman, plays for Lille in the French league. I made a video on my channel. Him and Jose Fonte, who used to play for Southampton next to Van Dijk, them two have kept like so many clean sheets, and they are on the same point as PSG in that league. So it shows you how good they're doing. They're having a great season. So will he want to come? You don't know. But for me, if Liverpool come in looking for you, your head always going to turn, isn't it? So for me, it's Sven Botman, definitely. I think you need to try and get him in. He's kept so many clean sheets, and I feel like for me, he fits perfectly. Left-footed, very tall, knows the game, got a lot of experience, and very, very young. For a 6-month loan deal or even 12-month loan deal, get him in. He'll be playing every single game. And yeah, he's a great centre-half to have in there to partner with Firmino, Henderson, whoever it is.
The experience that he'll gain from playing with a club like Liverpool, especially in the situation that we're in at the moment, I think that is something that not many people can put on their CV. So
and
even
he's young, so he won't want that much money. He won't be asking for 100 grand. He'd only be paying him 50, 60 grand a week, which isn't too much in the financial budget.
Yeah. And the thing is, look, I feel like a team like us and what we've achieved over the last few seasons, we've definitely made the money that we need.
Yeah,
and I think
definitely.
Obviously, I don't want to become like City where we're throwing money at problems to fix them. But I don't think FSG can complain about money because this club spent them a lot more.
We've never spent a lot of money on a wasted player. We've earned the money back from Alisson and Van Dijk from winning the league, Champions League, getting so many cups, getting everything. Like, the club is one of the most watched clubs in the world, most spent money clubs in the world. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like
our players into, like, we've picked up people like Robertson from Hull
for like 3 million or something there.
Trent, how much,
not a penny.
Yeah, Trent
Wijnaldum for like 12 million 5 years ago. Henderson from Sunderland for like 4 million 6 years ago.
Look at what we've turned these players into and developed.
Mane, Salah 30 million. They both go for 150 million now.
Easy. And Mane, don't even get me started. Like, that guy,
Mane
fits into any team.
Yeah, so does Salah. So does anyone.
So does Salah, to be honest. And these players are good. But the thing is, they can't complain when it comes to finance. And the thing is, when the club is struggling, like it is now at the moment, it's a poor form of run. And we've lucky that there's a transfer window time to fix the error. But they're right. Klopp can't just throw his money at anyone. Needs to sit down.
Backfire.
We do need a centre back. We can't go like this for another few months.
Yeah, definitely. Because we know FSG don't like spending money, but when times are needed, when you're challenging for the league, Champions League, you're such a big club over the past couple of years. Klopp's made us into some ridiculous, mentally monstrosity team. You need to just go, all right, we can give him, let's say, $1 million of wage budget. We can splash about 15. Like, that's Botman. If you get him on loan, he's going to cost you no money to buy. He might cost you like maybe 5 million or something for add-ons and stuff like that. But he's not going to cost you more than 5 million for wages and stuff like that, is he really? And I feel like for me, he's the perfect man we need. And I just feel like for me, FSG just really need to go. This team are challenging for 2 big titles here, Champions League and Premier League. They're still in a big chance of doing it with our result last night. The team that we've got Thiago in for free or at 20 million, whatever it was. We've got a great team here. We can still do it again. They just finally need to go, you know what, let's just open it, give him a bit of money just to use with. And they know Klopp will never go, oh yeah, you guys to give me 90 million, so I'm going to sign up for Meccano. He never will do that. He'll always go, I just need a little bit of finance wage here just so I can get this lad in. And yeah, he'll be gone in 6 months when we get them back. So they just need to budge a little bit now because it's getting ridiculous. If they want us to keep in their club, keep this club getting money in left, right, and centre, they need to move a bit and start going, yeah, here's a bit of money to spend on certain centre half. Because we both know Liverpool will never go out and spend a player. Like, if this is any other team, they would be in sort of panic. They'd be like, oh no, go get you. They'd be talking to 4 different centre halves who will all want 150 grand a week and they'll be costing about 80 to 100 million, like Upper Meccano, David Alaba, Militao, Ramos. They're all like being linked with us and all being linked with big clubs. And just feel like for me, Klopp is such a good manager and they don't know how lucky they are to have someone like Klopp, because if they had someone else, they'd be knocking at the door going, I need 100 million now. I need to go and sign 2 centre halves. Because I bet you if this was City, Chelsea, United, they'd sign about 2 centre halves worth 50 to 80 million easy. And we know they would. We've seen it in the past. City had no left back from bad leg breaks and stuff like that. They bribed Zinchenko and Mendy for like 60 million and like 40 million, 100 million spent. Do they play at all now? No. Are they getting paid 100 grand a week? Yeah, to sit on the bench. Just need to budge, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the thing is, look, we've seen what Klopp can do when he picks players. Like, he's got this ability to see what a player's going to do.
Yeah, he knows when players are good and they're going to play for him and they're going to play his style and going to do everything for him.
Yeah, and look at some of the players he's picked up on our team. The thing is, if he tells FSG that I think this player's good, there is
he's worth the couple of grand a week.
Like, yeah. And the thing is, you're saying this, and it's reminding me of the fact that recently on Twitter, I'm not sure if you're on Twitter, and I've seen... Even on like Instagram and everything, I've seen like all these posts, not so much posts, but comments about Klopp, about, like I was saying, Trent, about abusing Trent and all that sort of stuff.
Klopp can't do anything about this situation. He spoke out the other week, being brave, saying, I can't do anything. What do you want? Like, in his press conference after Burnley, I think it was just all building up, and he came out and said, I can't do anything without giving money. We need a centre half, but I can't do anything.
And when
And he
you're
said
playing,
it.
you do need to invest that kind of money. And the thing is,
That's what I mean.
so much. You don't understand how much it ticks me off when I see fans slagging off people like Klopp. The thing is,
he can't do anything about it.
Frustration, but
yeah.
How easy is it for these players to? How easy is it for these fans to forget that not long ago we were watching people like, no offense, but John Joe Shelby and like
Joe Allen in the midfield playing like
And those were the players that we were relying on. And now look at us now. We've got Thiago, who just won the flipping Champions League with Bayern Munich. And then you've got Salah, Mane, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on.
Yeah.
But it just bugs me and ticks me off so much when I see fans not just turning on to the players, but turning on against Klopp, who...
Yeah, because he can't do anything. Especially the past couple of weeks, he just came out of shell a bit and he's not done it for a while. And he said, listen, I can't do anything. We do need a centre-half. We've got a very low percentage of the back of players in the defensive line. He said all this and he's been really knocking on the door, as you can tell. And hopefully it will pay off. And I think Liverpool, fingers crossed, have got like 3 or 4 days before this window shuts in the next couple of days. And I feel like for me, we can see someone getting brought in on loan. I don't think we'll buy anyone because, again, as I said, we're not the club to do that. So, but FSG just needs to wake up a bit again. They need to realise how big of a club we are. Like, we're not just some little club who's fighting relegation. We're a club that is trying to win as many trophies as we can and most silverware we can. We need to sign someone
for a start, and then the Premier League again.
Yeah. But I reckon we will sign centre half. But
Got you on here. That brings me to my final question. If you were to have the choice between back-to-back Premier League wins or another Champions League win, which one do you choose?
100% the Premier League, only because to retain the title is something ridiculous, and then everyone has realised, wow, this Liverpool team could be one of the best, could be up there, the top 5 teams we've seen in the league. And if you ask every pundit and that, they'd say, oh, Liverpool one of the best teams you've seen. They'd go, maybe, but to be questioned, be in the answer of the best team in the Premier League, they'd say you have to retain it. You have to win 2 or 3 under your belt, and then you can call. So for me, I love the Champions League. For this right now, for me, I'd like us to go for that a tiny little bit more because I feel like we can win it. But I feel like for me, to retain the league is just something else. And considering the injuries we've had this year, people will be like, fair play. They'd take our hat off to us going, they've had the best player out in a lot of people's opinions. Everyone thought over the past couple of 18 months, people have gone, as soon as Van Dijk gets injured, you're buggered. You're not going to win it again. So shut them all up would be amazing.
I love it so much. Especially, do you know, this bad run of form that we've had and everything. And
then the injuries, everything.
So much stick from...
We've had 8 partnerships at the back. We've had so many different people at the back. We've had Henderson, 2 midfielders playing there. And considering how good other teams have been, it's just going to be,
Yeah. But to be honest, I think you convinced me with that answer about back-to-back Premier League wins. And the thing, even if we were to win the Champions League, don't get me wrong, it's an incredible...
It's literally touch tight, but to retain the league just shuts everyone up. And now it's been questioned as one of the best teams in the league.
Would it feel the same winning the Champions League like this, where you can't even travel away to Europe to watch half of the games? Or forget that. Does it even feel like a Champions League? There's no European...
For me, the European aways are the best thing you can physically do as a fan. Just getting on the plane at 3 o'clock in the morning, getting there, walking around the town and all that, all the Liverpool fans in the square and that. It's the best thing you can do. But for me, just this moment in time, right now I want to go for the Champions League because the league is so tight, and I feel like for us, there's so many teams around us which so close. It's not as last year. Last year we were going, sack that Champions League. We need to keep this lead. Now, obviously, we're fighting a bit more for it. We're not at the top. We need to get to the top. So, for me, the Champions League is so good to fall back on. If we lose, if you have another rough patch and the leaders are ahead by 11 points or something, you just go sack that. Just go for that Champions League. But any of them 2, I'd be happy with. Don't worry, I'll say that right now. But the European aways are one of the best things you can do as a fan. And if your club ever get into Europe, you need to go. It might cost you a few bob because, especially when Liverpool are travelling, the prices for some of the flights were absolutely ridiculous. But it's definitely worth the money in my opinion. Some great
was Kiev, traveling all the way to Kiev. I had to go through 3 countries to get there, but I got there. But so that's about it, guys. If you haven't yet, if you're still watching, make sure you subscribe to Welford TV.
Thank you.
As soon as we're back at the ground,
I'm
sure I'll put him in some of my vlogs too. And if you haven't, make sure you subscribe to my channel. With that said, see you guys later. Goodbye.
Later, thank you.